Hey, it's Greg. You may have seen from some of my recent videos that I spent nearly a month in Asia. 2 whole weeks of that trip were spent in Japan, and I spent time in the cities of Tokyo, Osaka, and Kyoto. Because I was trying not to spend $1 million on this trip, I opted to stay only at capsule hotels the entire time. Now, if you haven't heard of a capsule hotel, this is something that originated in Japan in the 70s. It's basically like an upgraded hostel. The first capsule hotel opened in Osaka in the late 70s. It was meant for businessmen who stayed out too late and either missed the last train home or didn't want to spend the night going back home on the train and then coming right back to work the next morning. Here, for a reasonable price, you could get a decent accommodation, albeit minimal, and it's close to your work, so you didn't have to travel so far and for so long. While capsule hotels are really popular in Japan, they're only starting to catch on in the rest of the world. For example, there's only one capsule hotel to my knowledge in Hong Kong, and New York just opened a capsule hotel that's really geared toward taking a nap in the middle of the day called Nap York. What you get is a small private bed space in a large room. You have a roll-down shade that can't be locked, but it is used for privacy. Typically, it'll have nice bathroom facilities, such as very clean showers, Japanese-style toilets, and sometimes even a Japanese-style bath. And typically, they'll provide you with pajamas, a towel, and slippers for every single night you stay. There's usually a common area of sorts to do work or have a drink, reflecting the Japanese tradition of taking off your shoes inside the hotel. Usually in capsule hotels, there's some point when you have to take off your shoes and switch to the provided slippers. Some of them also provide separate slippers for the bathroom. Most capsule hotels do not allow you to stay the whole day. Usually you can check in after some time ranging from 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. and then you have to check out usually by 10 or 11 a.m. In the middle hours, they usually clean the facilities, although in some hotels you can actually pay something like 100 yen or $10 per hour to take a nap. The capsule rooms, locker rooms, and bathrooms are generally separated by gender, so you'd really only interact with other genders in the common areas. From what I could gather, staying in 5 different capsule hotels in 3 cities, there are 2 main types of capsules. The first is the traditional capsule, which is around 3 to 4 feet in width, 3 to 4 feet in height, and 7 to 8 feet in length, so it could fit most people, but it is quite small. In the traditional capsule, there's usually a separate locker room where you can store all your belongings in a secure place. This type of capsule may or may not have a TV in the room, but you do typically have a power outlet so you can charge your electronics. You're encouraged to be quiet at all times. The second type of capsule hotel seems to be known as a cabin instead of a capsule. The cabin is usually a bit larger space where the space will be the entire height of a room, and it will usually be a little bit wider, maybe 5 to 6 feet wide. The cabin hotel has a small locker and hangers in the space, although there's barely any room to put anything inside the locker beyond a laptop and a few other personal belongings. This type of capsule hotel will have a separate luggage storage area, and you can request a free lock to lock your luggage to the luggage bar. From what I can tell, almost all the cabin hotels have a TV in the space, and you're supposed to use headphones when listening to it. So I stayed in 5 different capsule hotels, 2 from the 9 Hours chain, 2 from the First Cabin chain, and 1 independent in Osaka. I thought going into the trip that I would like the First Cabin hotels the best. And indeed, they did have the most amount of space and the most amount of amenities. However, I would say that certain parts of the workflow at the First Cabin brand left a bit to be desired. For example, the First Cabin hotel did not provide a bag to bring your clothing and toiletry between the bathroom and the bedroom. And also, there didn't really seem to be enough showers to accommodate all the guests. I saw a lot of people opting for the Japanese-style bath, mostly because the shower facilities were occupied. One of the First Cabin facilities had a bar right next to the common area, and they allowed smoking, so the air mixed really easily, and I'm not a huge fan of smoking, so it wasn't the best experience, whereas 9 Hours did not allow smoking at all. With that said, I did actually need to stay at a First Cabin type of facility because it had laundry amenities, which 9 Hours does not have. The 9 Hours brand, which offers a lot fewer amenities, actually impressed me a lot. First, the minimalist modern design really appeals to my personal aesthetic sense, and I felt that they did a better job keeping the facilities clean. They had better, cleaner common areas, especially at the location in Tokyo. 9 Hours provided a bag, and the workflow just seemed to work really well, from the time you check in, to putting all your items in the locker, using the bathroom, coming back to your locker, and then going to bed. And then the same in reverse when you woke up. One downside to the 9 hours facility is that they don't have any laundry facilities. So if you are packing light and for an extended trip you do need to do laundry on the trip, you would want to look to mix it up. Comparing the 9 hours hotels between Kyoto and Tokyo, the Kyoto hotel definitely seemed to be older and didn't have quite as good of a workflow between check-in to going to bed to checking out as the newer Tokyo branch. And similarly, the first cabin branch in Tsukiji didn't seem as new or as nice as the first cabin branch that was near the Tokyo station in Kyobashi. The Dotonbori Capsule Hotel in Osaka was very clean and had many amenities. Nothing particularly stood out as good or bad about it, so I would definitely recommend staying there. It's in a great location in Osaka. I would say the sleep quality at most capsule hotels was decent. Most of the beds were quite comfortable, although I'm not a very tall person, so if you are tall, you might want to reconsider that. Sometimes there were noises in the middle of the night. Even though there's a quiet policy, it's inevitable that with all these people in the same room, you are going to hear some noises. Most of the capsules do provide earplugs for free or for a very small fee, like 50 cents. So if you're easily awoken by sounds, you might want to consider grabbing some of these before you go to bed. And also I found that some of the capsules were a bit hot with the shade closed, even with the internal fans turned on. Overall, if you're going to Japan, I definitely recommend staying at least one capsule hotel, but hopefully you can stay at even more so you get a flavor of how they differ between each other. The 9 Hours brand has great aesthetics and tends to have a great workflow, whereas you get a few more amenities in the first cabin and other independent capsule hotels. And you can't beat the value of capsule hotels. On average, I was spending around 2,000 to 3,000 yen, which is $20 to $30 per night. And that's way cheaper than any hotel you're gonna find in Japan. So let me know if you have your own capsule hotel experiences, and I'll see you next time.